to the most important Doctor Who story of all time. And of course I'm talking about this one here, the Unearthly Child. This is the very first time we get to see Cal, the caveman, trying to make fire. Hello and welcome you lovely lot to another instalment. This is part 2 of me taking a look at every single UK release of Doctor Who on videotape. If you haven't already seen part 1, then go check out part 1 and come back to us and see this part. It will make more sense, I promise. Sit back and enjoy the show. Oh my god, what the fuck am I doing? Right then, so we start today's video with the Ark in Space, and I'm gonna put this out there and say it's one of the stories that I've seen probably the most amount of times. I've seen this story so many times. It was one of the first videos I ever got, and therefore I just watched it over and over again. I can even remember my best friend coming around my house when I was a little kiddie, and he said, "Hey, can we watch the Ark in Space?" I only just watched it the night previous, and I was like, do you know what? Yeah, why not? Let's do it. So, yeah, a little bit of trivia there about myself and the Ark in Space. But here is the Ark in Space. Like I said, a very good story, and it's practically the first time we see Tom Baker in space, which kind of adds to the excitement of the story. So I rate this story 9 out of 10. I absolutely love it, even if the creatures are made out of bubble wrap. I love it. Now this, my friends, is where it begins to get very, very interesting. They started to release not only the bigger stories, but before they made doubles, they made 2 singles. So literally 2 single videotapes for one story. Now a bit of background story for these two. I was actually introduced to these stories back when I was about 4 years old. So this is actually before the Death to the Daleks that I previously mentioned was my first video, but these weren't my videos. They were lent to my father, and I was 4 years old, so I literally have no memory of watching these, but I would have sat next to my dad and watched this. But like I said in the previous video, Death to the Daleks was the first video that I actually owned and remember buying from the shop, and I think I was about 5, so I wasn't much older, but I do remember that. So, like I said, this is just one story. This is the very first time the Daleks were seen on TV, of course, in 1963. The first video contains parts 1 to 4, and the second contains parts 5 to 7. And as you can see, the artwork is pretty much the same. They've just used a different colour, basically, to kind of show you the difference in the videos. And of course, at the back, there's some different images of the different parts of the story. So, the Daleks. If you haven't seen this, check it out, because I rate this particular story a 9.5 out of 10. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the most important Doctor Who story of all time. And of course, I'm talking about this one here, the Unearthly Child. This is the very first time we get to see Cal, the caveman, trying to make fire. And also, it happens to be the very first Doctor Who story that was ever released, ever. So, pretty nostalgic stuff there. The Unearthly Child. I love the artwork on this one. Look at that. The first Doctor and his granddaughter kind of mixed as one kind of person there. Really, really cool. There isn't actually any kind of footage on the back, like any stills or anything, which is unusual. Normally there is, but hey ho. The Unearthly Child. Seriously, if you haven't seen this, you gotta go check it out, for real. And as I mentioned with the Daleks, we now move on to the War Games, which again is a very long story. I believe it's 10 parts in total, and it meant that it came in 2 videos. Now, I actually bought these originally before I'd sold my original collection way back in 1999 in a convention in Coventry, which I believe was called Battlefield 3. Now, you're gonna like totally go crazy when I tell you this, but this video, these 2 videos if you like, they cost me over £100. I probably got absolutely flogged, but come on, I mean, I was a young kiddie. How old was I in 99? I was like 11, so I was up for it. It was my Christmas and my birthday money. I'd saved up all year and I blew it on a few Doctor Who videos, so that's kind of crazy. But yeah, the War Games, for me, gets a 9 3/4 out of 10. It's such a long story. You got the first video here containing the first 5 parts, and then the second containing the last 5 parts. It's absolutely epic. It's like binge watching some TV series on Netflix. It's that long. I highly recommend you go and check it out. I have noticed that on the back of these videos, the images are the same, which is a bit of a cop-out, but nonetheless, I think we'll let that slide. So that is the War Games. If you haven't seen the War Games, let me know in the comments down below, and I'm going to go and reply to that and say, go watch the War Games, come on. So the War Games, a fantastic story. Oh yeah. This video seems to be all about the doubles, doesn't it? Because now we move on to the Dalek Invasion of Earth. Again, we have 2 videos for 1 story. The first video contains the first 3 episodes, and this one here contains the last 3 episodes. Why they couldn't fit 6 episodes on, I guess back in the day, it just couldn't. Wasn't it E90, so you'd have an hour and a half, was like almost your maximum, was it E120? I don't know, I could vaguely remember it. But yeah, so you get kind of a double for your buck, I suppose. I'm sure there are people out there that bought one thinking, oh, excellent, Dalek Invasion of Earth, and then realised that they only had half a story. That must have been an absolute bummer. But, as I say, the artwork on these, again, really, really nice. And, again, on the back, they are indeed the same again. But I think it's just one of those things they probably couldn't be bothered to change the artwork. But, of course, it's the second Dalek story ever, and I rate this one 8.5 out of 10. I didn't see this story for such a long time, and when I finally got to see it, I was kind of underwhelmed in a way, because I've been used to watching the Peter Cushing movies, and when these came out, it was so different. But that being said, I still hold these dear to my heart. I do find it difficult to diss anything classic Doctor Who-wise, but don't worry, we'll get to that. There's a few stories that I just don't enjoy, so we'll get to those. But for now, the Dalek Invasion of Earth, baby. Now, this particular era of the Doctor Who releases seem to be focusing their efforts primarily on the 60s, on the black and white stories, which by all accounts is incredible. I'm up for that. So the next story we have is The Mind Robber. Now, this story has to be up there with one of the most inventive, creative stories, even to the point, spoiler alert, Fraser Hines, who plays Jamie, I believe had chickenpox through one of the episodes, so they replaced him with a different actor. And they didn't just do that, they kind of incorporated that into the story. Phenomenal. And for that reason alone, this story gets 10 out of 10. That's how much I love The Mind Robber. Really fascinating, really good. Check it out. Even if you've seen it, go and watch it again. It is that good. The Mind Robber. Okay, so now we're moving on to one of the, I would say, worst Doctor Who stories of all time, in my opinion anyway, and that is The Web Planet. Now, I say one of the worst, and I say that with like a heavy heart, because it is enjoyable. It does have the Zarbi in it, and I absolutely adore the Zarbi, to the point where I've been army building them with the Eagle Moss figures recently. But the story itself is so fucking hard to sit through. I'm currently watching all of these on BritBox at the moment, and I'm on this one here. I'm on The Web Planet, and I'm halfway through it, and I just cannot find the energy to sit through another episode. But I really need to get on it and do it. I need to just sort myself out, really. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of The Web Planet. It is one of those stories that had so much imagination, so much idea. I just think the budget on this occasion did kind of let it down in some way. So I do feel like I'm hating on this story, but like I say, it's a difficult one to watch in my opinion. For that reason, I give The Web Planet a 4 out of 10, which really is quite a low ranking, possibly one of the lowest. But yeah, The Web Planet on 2 videos, first 3 episodes on part 1 and the last 3 episodes on part 6. So we're going to move on to the last video in this video, and I'll show you that one in just a second. Okay, so the last story of this series, Arthur Billing has just commented on my video. It's funny actually, because I'm actually recording this one now, obviously, and I've literally just uploaded the first part of this video as I'm recording this. So Arthur, this is a bit timey-wimey. Thank you for the comment, my friend. I've just had a notification on my phone, which I'm now using to record because my camera just seems to be crap. So that reminds me, let me know in the comments down below if the quality of these couple of videos that I've released recently is better for you guys. If it is, then that's fantastic. I'm trying my best to kind of make this channel as accessible for everyone as I possibly can. So Arthur, good man. Cheers. Happy New Year. And Happy New Year to everyone, by the way. So here we have the Dominators, a fantastic story again with, well, the Dalek replacements. Apparently the Quarks were supposed to take over from the Daleks. Didn't quite happen, unfortunately. I loved the Quarks, but they just didn't have that kind of Dalek-esque-ness, I suppose. I don't think Dalek-esque-ness is a word, but it is now. Comment down below, Dalek-esque-ness, so I know you got as far in the video. I don't know how to spell that even, let alone pronounce it. But anyway, so the Dominators, another good story. I would rate this one 7 out of 10, simply because there are a few problems I feel in the story. But yeah, maybe I'll review this story one day proper, and I'll let you know what those problems were with the story. But there we have the Dominators, and what more can I say about it than, yeah, go check it out if you haven't already checked it out. I would love to say that I'm endorsed by the BBC at this point, and I'm basically making these videos to make you go out and buy the Blu-rays of the Doctor Who stories that are coming out. So BBC, if you're watching this, come on, you know you'll wanna. Anyway, so yes, thank you very, very much for watching the second part of this massive Doctor Who video series. Okay, so at this point we've literally covered less than 20 stories, so there's a lot more videos to come, be sure about that. So please comment, like, subscribe and all that jazz, I really appreciate it. Thank you to all my Patreons as well, you're going to see those lovely, lovely people in a minute. And I will leave you with this Doctor Who joke that I used to love telling as a kid. Knock knock. Who's there? Doctor. Doctor Who? Oh man, who told you? Come on. Now I bet you've never heard that one before. Take care guys. Goodbye for now.